Welcome back, and welcome to a week that is tough to share. Well, we promised to bring you along for the good things and the bad. You've seen me cry sappy tears a lot of times, but this is the first time that you'll see me cry sad tears. Today was a hard day. Before we get any deeper into this video, I just want to be upfront and honest about what the loss was that we experienced. I don't know about you guys, but I can't stand it when a video tries to hook, line, and sinker you into watching from start to finish. I want you to stick around and watch the whole video because you want to be here, not because I am keeping you hanging until the last minute. The loss that we experienced was what probably many would consider a very minor loss or a very silly loss, but we experienced the loss of a chick. And spoiler alert, but we actually experienced the loss of two. Forewarning that I am going to be showing you some footage of what this actually looks like in real life. So if seeing animals with any sort of atypical presentation is not your thing, just skip ahead a little bit. But, speaking of butts, pasty butt. I talked about pasty butt in our video last week when we brought the chicks home from the post office. But this week we got a real life firsthand encounter with the condition and how quickly things can go from bad to worse. So here's what we're looking for with pasty butt. This is boat snack, and this morning her hiney looks like this. So we gotta get her cleaned off. I'm gonna get you cleaned off, sweetie. We don't want to pull that off because I don't want her vent to get torn. So I have a little bit of warm water here. We're just putting her in there and soaking her to try and loosen that up, and then gently wiping the area. We soaked her hiney in warm water here. I was able to get the dried poop off, but you can see she's a little sore, so poor sweetie. I'm gonna make sure that she gets some food and drink here and get some rest, and that we dry her off really good before we put her in there. I want her to warm up under the brooder, and we'll keep a close eye on her today. We tried our best for boat snack, and unfortunately it wasn't enough.
Oh, you get a little bit. That's a good girl. Come on, you can do it. That's a good girl.
I guess I should never say that things are easy, because I was saying the other day, oh man, compared to puppies, chickens are so easy.
You can do it. Come on.
It's hard to explain why my feelings were so big for an animal that is so small and one that I had hardly known. But I think those raw feelings and those big feelings kind of spewed out for a combination of reasons. I know that there is probably a scale of difficulty and a scale of skill needed for farm animals, and certainly chickens are not high on that scale, they're very low, but for us, it was our first attempt at anything non-traditional besides a cat or a dog. It is the day after we lost one of our chicks, so we all took the time that we needed yesterday to be sad about that. We're hoping that today will be a much better day. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turkey is the one that is still under the heat plate, and I don't know what her personality is, but she cracks me up. I always worry about her because she's always the last one out, but when she comes out with style. She usually like sprints the entire way across. And then, oh, see? Well, good morning. So all 7 are out and about here this morning. They're all looking very vigorous. They're all making happy chirps. They are all eating. They're all drinking. I do not see any signs of pasty butt on any of them. Mabel, you can't see her right now. She's around the back of the feeder. Yesterday we saw just a tiny streak of droppings on her bottom, and I don't think that it was any reason for concern, but because of what we experienced yesterday with our other chick, I wanted to get on top of it just so that I would feel like if anything happened to her that I tried. This morning they're all looking good, so fingers crossed that whatever happened yesterday was not anything contagious. I feel bad because I'm pretty sure it was just a bad case of pasty butt. Live and learn, I suppose, but it's a new day. We have never had animals that had given birth before or that had hatched before. We had never experienced that side of things, that vulnerable and fragile state where things can be really touch and go. And because of that, it made me feel like our first attempt in some ways was a failure. Yes, in future years, we plan to have chickens specifically for the purpose of meat production. And yes, had this hen turned out to be a rooster, I would have been using it for broth or soup anyway. But that is kind of the deal and kind of a pre-existing contract between myself and the animal. And for these chicks that were lost this week, it felt like I had not held up my end of the contract. I didn't give these animals the life that I was supposed to. Losing a chick last week was hard, harder than I thought it would be, honestly. I know that it still probably sounds a little bit silly that we were so upset about it, but it was a process for all of us. I felt like I was a little bit more cautious with the chicks after that, not handling them as much, just more worried. The chicks are over a week old now, so I also do need to be mindful of overheating and things like that, which can cause some of the pasty butt issues that we saw. So I did raise up their heat plate just a tiny bit today. They're under it still a good bit, so I don't think it's too hot for them under there, but they are getting taller, so I raised that up. We also put their little perch bar in. They're starting to figure that out. Seems like we've got 7 happy and healthy little girls. But then out of nowhere, we lost Pip. I did not film during the event or right after because I needed some time to process, but yesterday we lost another one of our chicks. It felt different than the first time. The first time we watched that chick suffer almost a whole day. We tried to revive it. We saw the whole process of her passing. I think also with it being the first one, it stung a lot more emotionally as far as we were really sad, and you saw that. Lots of tears and things like that. Yesterday felt, I don't even know how to describe it really, just kind of like frustrating and discouraging. Ever since we lost that first one, I have been a lot more diligent about checking on them frequently, making sure there's a head count. I had seen them several times yesterday, and if I was gonna pick one chick to be worried about, it was not the chick that we lost. I went in last night to check on them one more time and change out food and water, and she was just laying there under the heat plate. If I can't give them the life that they're supposed to have, it feels like I'm doing the animal a disservice, and I don't like that feeling. In hindsight, I don't really know what went wrong with her. I'm thinking perhaps maybe I wasn't raising the heat plate quickly enough and she got overheated. But honestly, what's probably more likely is just that she had something underlying, some sort of silent condition that we couldn't see from the outside. I don't know. Everybody keeps telling me to shake it off, that this happens a lot more frequently than I realize, but I am trying to do some extra things just to be safe. Kids and I ran to Agway and we got some probiotics and some electrolytes for the chicks just to supplement with their water. They had electrolytes when they first arrived, but I want to make sure that we're still giving them those things. So if you look at it, it kind of looks like chicken Gatorade. I'm gonna offer this to them alongside their water. I'm doing everything that I can, and if anybody out there sees anything that they would recommend, then please don't hesitate to let me know. I am a sponge, but know that I did not go into this haphazardly. We did research ahead of time, so I just kind of feel bad for these babies, but here we go. When this happened again, it just kind of set me on a spiral. Like, okay, so every couple of days I'm gonna come out here expecting to see healthy chickens, and we're just gonna keep finding them dead. I appreciate Jonathan and his ability to just support me and get me through the emotional roller coaster sort of days. But who I haven't mentioned in all of this yet, in this journey of loss, is my kids. And I am so beyond proud of how they have handled all of it. Both of them have rallied behind me and lifted my spirits this week on more than one occasion when I really needed it. After we lost Boat Snack, I was struggling a little bit because I didn't know, and I'll never know, if any of that loss was my fault. Clark could tell that I was beating myself up a little bit. He quietly came up to me and he said, "Mommy, you didn't cause this. You didn't do this. It just happened." And that really stuck with me. I appreciated that comment and that support and that reminder more than he knew. So thanks, buddy. These chicks, somebody tell me what to do here. My sister gave me a suggestion. It doesn't work for the feeder that I have. So somebody out there who has chicks, please tell me what I can do because I'm about ready to throw these girls in timeout. They are so messy with their food. Life for farm animals has a beginning and it has an end, unfortunately, and sometimes that end comes sooner than we would like it to. I am very certain that this will not be the first loss that we experience on our homestead, and I'm sure that these losses will get easier as they become more commonplace and something that we have experienced numerous times. But I have to say that I hope that I don't lose my humanity in this process and that I do feel losses even when they are seemingly small. While I started this video with a bit of a mental breakdown over the loss of a chick, I'm not embarrassed to share that with you because it was more than just the loss of a small chicken. It was a first for our family and the beginning of a new season that we hadn't experienced yet. I'm quite certain that this is not going to work, but I'm trying to look up tricks to slow the feeder and the wasting of the food. So we're gonna try putting the feeder in a pie plate to see if that catches it, and then maybe it doesn't end up all over the brooder. Maybe I can save some of it. We'll see. I have a feeling they're still gonna poop on this and that it's gonna be wasted, but I guess it's worth a try. It is a March evening here in Pennsylvania, and I'm not sure if my voice or my mouth are reflecting how cold I am currently feeling, but I am going to wrap things up and head back inside where I can warm up. Just wanted to say that at the time of this filming, it has been 10 days since we lost Pip, and fortunately, there have not been any subsequent losses since that loss. No indications that it was any sort of contagious illness or something that would be taking down our chickens one by one. So the update on the pie plate trick with the chicks is that somehow it actually works. They have a lot of food in the pie plate, don't get me wrong, but it is working. The remaining 6 are doing well. They are growing like weeds, and we actually now call them our big girls because they have graduated to the basement where they are very happy and content, and we had to move them to the basement so that we could make way for our new hatchlings, which you will meet next week. Thanks for being here. Thank you for crying with me or laughing at me while I cry or whatever it is that you did. We appreciate your views. We appreciate your comments. We hope that you have an awesome week, and we will see you next time. Andy and I are on.
Ew, I got poop on my hand.
Oh, blackberry. Black, black. Oh, blackberry.